Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here from sweetstamper.com, and I'm so glad to be back with you this week. I was on vacation last week, hanging out with my grandkids for a whole week, so I wasn't here to do Facebook Live. In a perfect world, I was going to have all of this, have taped episodes for you. Yeah, that didn't happen. So here we are. And like I said, I'm really glad to be back here with you today. We ended up having our stay with our grandkids extended unintentionally because there were all kinds of snafus with Southwest Airlines over the weekend, and so we were supposed to have come back on Saturday evening. Yeah, we got stranded until the wee hours of Monday morning. So not a bad thing to be stranded with your grandkids. We had to shuffle a few things, but we were very grateful to get home tomorrow, a bit jet lagged. We had to leave for the airport at, dark 30. So we were up at 4 and getting on the plane and then, changing time zones a little. So I'm, been playing catch up ever since I got home. So what I'm going to do with you today, hello Laura, I'm glad you're with me. So I'm going to do something today that I thought was well due, and that is I am going to revisit my stack, cut, and shuffle technique. This is something that I've done with you before, but I downloaded my my video to YouTube. It's the video that I most often get comments about that people can't see what I was doing in camera sufficiently. So I knew it needed to be redone. And am I on the right page? Oh, hell, yeah, I am. Okay. Hello, Jennifer. I'm glad you are joining me today as well. So let me show you. Stack, cut, and shuffle is a really fun technique, and it concentrates on designer series papers. And so right now, all of our papers are retiring. That's the way Stampin' Up! Does. At the end of a catalog, typically annual catalog, and even the mini catalogs, typically all of the papers retire. And that is the way it is this year. So some of the papers are on sale. Some of them are their full price. And I'm keying in on the Pansy Patch paper. It's gorgeous paper. It is 20% off, I believe, is what it is. Now let me show you the B sides. This is for the patterns. And then this is the A side. So that's a lot of busyness. And so I know that my keys, my top tips for using this technique are, number one, to use a set of designer series papers because they'll all coordinate, but choose a pack that has, or patterns that have small patterns. You want small, you don't want huge, pieces in it, huge huge images in it, because you're going to cut this paper into fairly small pieces. You also want to have contrast in here. So I'm going to choose a couple of, I'm actually going to choose a couple, these are really, I could do all of that right there and just have the one floral. So you're going to be combining these 4 papers together. And so it's best, I think I'm just going to do, I think I'm going to do like this. So, of course, once I cut them, I can still change things up a bit. So I'm going to be loading these onto some fresh freesia card bases. And hi, Melissa, I'm glad you're joining us. Now, one of the reasons I also wanted to feature this Pansy Patch paper today is it features all of the in colors that debuted last year. And we get these colors for another whole year. So I think it's a great pack of paper to get right now. I want to say it's $9.60 versus $11.50 if memory serves me, and I'm not a great numbers girl, but I think that is right. So definitely worth grabbing. Hey, Dudley and Melissa. Okay, we've got a good group gathering. So as I said, you are going to not as I said, I haven't said this yet. you're going to make 4 cards at the same time. So this is a really great technique to use when you need to make a little stack of cards, or maybe a big stack, and you could do it a couple of times. So I'm going to do 4 cards, and I'm taking a stack of 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces of designer series paper. So these would typically go, as a layer on your cards. Now I do need to make sure they are totally stacked together nicely. Let me get my my cutting blade up here. With the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, it's a great trimmer. I think it's $30. It's a great buy. And you have a scoring blade and you have a cutting blade. And the easy way to always remember that for me is if the scoring blade is a light color because it has a lighter pressure, the cutting blade is darker because it has darker pressure. Essentially, a scoring blade is a dull cutting blade. So what we're going to do, I have my 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my trimmer, and I'm going to cut the long side. Well, I guess I'm cutting the narrow side at 2 3/4. Okay, so that is going to give me this nice strip here. Okay, so I'm cutting through. Hey Marlene, I'm glad you're joining us. I'm cutting through all 4 layers of designer series paper. So you may have to bring your blade back a couple of times, but really, this cuts like butter. Now I have this little stack of strips, designer series paper strips here, and I'm going to just set those over to the side. I'm going to bring my trimmer up, and I'm going to take this. Hey Stella, I'm glad you're here, and Valerie. I'm going to take my stack and I'm going to thread it through here, and I'm going to bring this at the 3 inch mark. And now once again, I'm going to cut through. Whoa, that can happen, and so you got to kind of hold your paper tightly. Hey Linda, I'm glad you're here. And I'm actually going to hold this down tightly as well. And that's what I didn't do last time, and that's what made it shift. So really, 2 times through and I'm good. Now I'm going to take these little stacks and I'm going to set them aside and leave them exactly in their position. And I'm going to bring in my skinny stack and leave it in its stacked position. And I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. Okay, so there we go. Now, I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully I'm going to get this. Well, actually, the measurements are the most important part of this, because truth be told, once you start shuffling, anything will really work. So don't get too fussed about it. Okay, now I'm going to take all 4 of my stacks, put them here. Then I'm going to start shuffling. So this is called stack, cut, and shuffle technique. We have stacked and we have cut. Now we're going to shuffle. Okay. So let's see if I can get my stack back together again. There and there and there and there. Okay. So there's everything together. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to shuffle. Pull one back. I'm going to take this stack and I'm actually going to shuffle 2 times. And actually they go that way. I'm going to take this skinny stack and I'm going to shuffle 3. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And this stack I'm going to leave as is. And that is going to form the basis of what I'm going to do here. And it's basically like a little quilt pattern. Super fun to do. And I will have the measurements for you. I've actually blogged about this on my blog. And but I realized I kept referring to my first video that I did on this. And like I said, I kept hearing from people, even when I was doing it, that not everything was, you couldn't see. What I just did, you couldn't see in the camera. So it was important for me to revisit this technique. I will tell you that when I first did this, we did it as a team creative challenge. We run creative challenges on my team Facebook group a couple of times a month. And this one, it was like wildfire. People loved it. Hey, Diane, I'm glad you're here. People are still doing it. So I'm going to take my 4 card bases, and again, these are fresh freesia. You could use any, with this set of papers, you could use any of these new, well, soon to be not new in colors, but these are the colors that were introduced in the catalog that will be retiring very soon, and that we already have our retiring list for. So that's why the paper is on sale. Now, you can do these at a portrait, but I'm going to do or at landscape. I'm going to do these all at portrait. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, now this is like so. So I want to have this at 5 1/4 by 4. So essentially this is just going to go over here. However, I need to go this way because you see my pansies, I need to have them right side up. So wherever you have directional patterns, you need to make sure that you're heading in the right direction. So now I'm just going to stack this over here, lay this out, quilt pattern style, and I'm just going to take these top pieces, and you see how they perfectly fit, and I have just a wee bit of my cardstock that's peeking through to give me that nice layer. Isn't that lovely? And it's just like magic because they all work. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. So let me grab my adhesive and go to town. So like I said, this is very quick. I do like to use my my Tombow liquid glue with this because you might need to shift your patterns just a little bit, and that's much easier to do with your liquid glue. So I'm just going to go boom there. That one is done. And you can see these are pretty tight. These are 1/8 inch gaps that I'm creating. Hey, Diane, I think you're a birthday girl. I think it's today or it was yesterday, one or the other. So I'm glad you're joining me. And this has in it, this paper has the most recent in colors, which is fresh freesia, soft succulent, evening evergreen, pale papaya, and polished pink. Now, you know, I could have done these the other way, but I like, personally, when I'm doing this in the portrait mode, I like to have the skinny strips on the right, on the side over here. And, you know, you could change this up and turn the different pieces over and play with it that way. So there's a lot of creative opportunities that you have with this. Really, I think that it is technically a quilt pattern because one of my team members is a big quilter. She's a very avid quilter. And she said that this is a quilt pattern as well. So this one is done. Now let's bring this one in. And of course, my pansies are upside down. So I've got to bring them here, and look how gorgeous they are. And then there's my fresh freesia. And then there is my other little gingham pattern, and then my stripes are there. So again, I'm just going to dot a little adhesive on here. I don't need a ton, and that's, you know, I do love the liquid glue, but the one thing you have to be mindful of is a little goes a long way. You can get too much of a good thing, and it is not water soluble, so you can't just like wash it off your hands easily. Hand sanitizer actually will take it off really well, as will Goo Gone, because it's not water soluble. And look how cute this is. See, that pattern will look really cute too because I've got the fresh freesia base. But I thought that with this particular pansy pattern on this particular piece of paper, it's really, really heavy print. So I find that a little goes a long way, and that's why this little technique is perfect for using really heavy patterns. So see, I've already got 2 done. Aren't they cute? So let's do 2 more. And now I've got my fresh freesia gingham. Isn't that lovely? And there's my stripe. And now I've got just a wee little piece of the pansies up here, and then some more gingham here. So this one, I get just a hint of the pansies. So having said that, I could turn that over if I wanted more flowers. I could turn this over here, and I could turn this over here, and I would get a totally different look. But for the sake of my demonstration, I think I'm going to just keep my patterns where they are. And you know, the other thing about this is if you're looking to give a little gift set of cards, 4 cards is a lovely gift. And so this stack, cut, and shuffle technique is perfect for that. So this is, again, by popular request. When I had shown this technique before, my camera angle was wonky and people could not clearly see, I think largely when I was cutting. And that's a key. You know, you do have to cut. You know, this is really all about the cuts. And I will revisit that with the measurements, because that is really where all the magic happens. Because like I said, you could technically just shuffle these any way you want and do all kinds of patterns. So, but there is kind of, when you do it, you know, where you shuffle 1 and then 2 and then 3, you know, you get an even distribution of all these patterns. So this one's going to have a lot of the soft succulent and a lot of the evening evergreen. And then look, here we come with these lovely pansies again. Aren't they lovely? You know, when we were in Virginia with our grandchildren, they lived 10 minutes from the botanical gardens, which is lovely. And, you know, several years ago when they were living here in San Antonio, I had purchased for my daughter for her birthday present, I had purchased a, now I need to get rid of this glue. Let me grab a tissue. I had purchased a family pass for them to the botanical gardens. And what I didn't, and then that just became kind of her birthday gift every year, which was pretty nifty. And what's nice is that a lot of these botanical gardens across the country, they have reciprocal programs, which I didn't realize. So they can use their San Antonio Botanical Gardens pass, and they get into the Virginia one for free. So that was really nifty, and they love to go. They have a lovely children's section. Well, let me tell you how the things that were blooming, they were pansies, there were tulips, there were daffodils galore, and the cherry trees, oh my goodness, it was just gorgeous. Crabapple trees, so much was blooming, and it was absolutely lovely. So Diane, I'm glad that you like this technique. It is really, really nifty. Now, I have, in just a matter of minutes, I have made 4 card bases that are ready to have a little bit of decoration. And I prefer, personally, there's a lot going on with these. Although they're lovely, there's a lot going on here. I don't think it's busy, but it can be a little bit, you know, strong. So I'm going to keep things simple. And my favorite stamp set to use with this is Biggest Wish. Now, if you don't have this, you're going to want to get it. It is carrying over into the new catalog. And I think what I like about this is these really bold greetings and the really strong font. I think it works really well with this technique. And of course, again, if you're going to do this for a friend, for a little gift or something, you can easily do a set of 4 or even more cards. So I'm going to tuck my cards over here to the side, and this stamp set is only $17. It is photopolymer, and that means I'm going to get my little piercing mat out, and I'm going to use the Hello. I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen ink, and I have cut several labels from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. These are on the retiring list. this is one of the items that I actually mourned over retiring. One of my favorite, all-time favorite sets of dies. So I would encourage you to grab these while you can, because when they're gone, they are gone. So that, I'm a little bit off. You know, I think I need a bigger block. Let me show you something here. Sometimes when you're using a small block like this, when you go to position it, it's a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of a halo effect, prism effect. So I'm just going to put this on a bigger block, and then I can clearly see underneath me, and that's what I need. Hey, Terry Lynn, I'm glad you're joining us too. So now when I line this up, I can clearly see exactly where I need to put this. And that way I get it square and centered. Look at there. Isn't that a nice bold hello? So I'm just going to do 4 of these in hello. I could do, you know, hello and thanks and happy. I could do several different things, but I thought I'm going to do these as hello cards. Because then these are perfect for just, you know, I just want to drop you a line. I just want to say, hey, I hope everything is good in your part of the world, and just want you to know that I'm thinking of you. Hello. Again, this is in Evening Evergreen ink, and I'm stamping on Soft Succulent. So now I'm going to close my ink pad, because open ink pads are dangerous in your crafting space unless you're actually using it. And now I am ready to assemble these. I am going to put these up on dimensionals. Now let me just show you. See how that just brings it all together? And I think this shape from the Stitch So Sweetly is absolute perfection for this particular technique. And again, this is stack, cut, and shuffle technique. It is perfect for using your designer series paper. And I'm just going to pop these up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like this. This is how you do assembly line work. So again, if I was making these for little springy, summery, fall card little gifts, this would be perfect. Because, you know, pansies bloom actually 4 seasons, because at least in my neck of the woods, in San Antonio, the pansies will even survive a little bit of snow. So here we go. This is right here. Isn't that sweet? I'm going to add just a little bit of ribbon, I think. I don't know. I might not. Sometimes I add ribbon to these and sometimes I don't. So again, you start with a stack of 4 pieces of 5 1/4 by 4 designer series papers, and then you just cut and then you shuffle. So here is my 4 cards in just a few minutes. I hope you're going to try this, and it just is like the perfect little fun way to use your designer series paper. And because it doesn't take a huge piece, you know, a lot of times we have that size, 5 1/4 by 4, left over from a stack of papers. So now I've got these 4 cards coming along very nicely. Now I'm going to add a little bit of bling, and I think I will add some ribbon, which I hadn't planned. Let me grab it. Now I can, all of these ribbons would look really nice. I can add in more of the, this is the fresh freesia that's on the cardstock, or I could add a little pop of this polished pink, which I think might be the ticket, because sometimes you just get too much of a good thing, and I think I need a little bit of contrast. So I've got the fresh freesia base, I've got the Evening Evergreen ink, and I've got the Soft Succulent cardstock. And there's not a lot, in these patterns that I chose, there's not a lot of pale papaya. So I think that this is going to be the one. And yes, someone has just said that I could take, that would be the perfect way to gift these, is just to put a little piece of a ribbon around them. And that would be perfect. Let me grab my scissors. And this is coming together nicely. You know, the other thing about this Pansy Patch paper is I think it has really broad appeal. I know young moms who would love to get these little set of cards. And I know seniors, a lot of us seniors have really strong memories of pansies, but pansies are just such happy flowers. So let's see if I can just do that. Oh yeah, I think that is just a good accent. And then let's see, we're going to add just a little bit of bling, and I've got a couple of ideas here. So let's see what we can do. I'm thinking that these are, hey Kathy, I'm glad you came and I'm glad you had fun watching. You should join us. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. for Facebook Live. I have these pastel pearls, and I'm thinking they might add just a nice little pop of color on here and maybe pick up the darker purple on some of these. These were those garden gems, and these were just kind of on my table. This is from that Eden's Garden collection, and these sold out, but look how they pick up the colors. These just add so much shine. And then these are the In Color gems, which are on the retiring list, and this is all that I have left on them. So if I were going to use these, I wouldn't be able to do them on all the cards unless I added just a couple, and yeah, I'm not going to add just a couple. You know me, I'm going to use a bunch. I think I'm going to add these. Let me see. What do you think? Should I add? This is going to definitely add more color, more of the same colors. This is going to add a lot of light, so I'm definitely open to a few opinions here. Let me see if, of course, my take a pick tool is not where I need it to be, so let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I'm going to lift these off, and let's just see what we can do here. Let's try these first. Let's try the dark purple pastel pearls first, and then we'll go from there. Oh, that is pretty. That is pretty, I have to admit. And I like that they're kind of chunky. Yep, I think that's going to be just the ticket. What do we think, ladies? A nice little hello. I think that pink ribbon is very flirty. So let's see what happens when we do that on a piece that has, or on a card that has a large piece of the pansies. I think it's going to have the same effect. Now, you may have noticed on the retiring list, if you have been combing over it, like many of us have, this ribbon is not on the retiring list because it is carrying over into the new annual catalog. So that is, oh, happy day. So you would have some current supplies. What's nice is you know that you're going to be able to get this ribbon for another whole year. So that is good to know. And the same thing with the pearls. So everything here is staying current except, well, I'd say the retiring bits are the die and the paper. So those are kind of pretty important bits. Now let's see what happens if we use this lighter purple. Doesn't stand out as much. I think I like this dark purple. I like the contrast there. But I think this time I'm going to put it down here because I think it shows up better. And then we're going to take one right up here, and that's going to give us our little bling. Yes, you can mail these, Dudley. What I do with these, I honestly just put a piece of packing tape over the envelope so they won't poke through. Some people choose to use the hand-canceling stamp, which is the butterfly stamp. But I send things like this all the time, and I never have an issue. So they're not all that thick. Let's see if we go here. And, let's do this. And let's do this. And let's put a little pink ribbon there. So, yeah, and I think the other thing is with the, when you have a little bit of a slightly bulky embellishment like this, is I make sure it's not up in the corner where the stamp is going to be. Now, Marlene is saying you can turn the card inside out. You can do that. The other thing some people do is put a piece of cardstock over it. So just take a 1/4 inch, not 1/4 inch, 5.5 by 4.25 inch piece of cardstock, and you can just mail it with that. So yeah, there's a number of tricks that we have to get past having to spend a little bit extra on our postage because, you know, truth be told, I spend a lot on postage. And I'm trying to save, you know, when you're saving, 15 cents on everything you send out the door, well, yeah, we want to do that. So there's my third one. Look how cute these are looking. They're just happy. These are happy, fun cards. Super simple, super easy. They don't take a ton of supplies. And, you don't have to do the ribbon, but I think that little bit of ribbon kind of just adds that little extra something, something. I think I might, is that kind of bleaching out? Turn that, I think that might be better. Is that, I think my lighting, that was too dark. Okay, I'm trying to, that's better. Okay, I think I was kind of bleached out and I didn't notice that. Sometimes that overhead light that's right, that's on the right-hand side of my room that's pretty close to my camera, sometimes it'll bleach out what I'm working on. Not bleach it out, but bleach out in the camera. So let's just pop this here, and voila, in a matter of minutes, about 30 minutes, I got all 4 of these done super easily. Hey, Crystal, we are doing stack, cut, and shuffle again. And I shared at the beginning of the recording today, or of my Facebook Live, that this is the YouTube video that I most often get comments on that are not negative comments, but people are telling me, I can't see what you're doing. So evidently, the first time I did this, there were issues with my camera angle, and you couldn't clearly see when I was stacking, cutting, and shuffling. And of course, that's how you learn how to do this fun technique. Now, I changed up my bling a little bit, the position of the bling a little bit, based on the patterns, because you do want to make sure that your bling is showing up in your on there so that you can see it. So that is my 4 stack, cut, and shuffle cards for today's Facebook Live. This is a really great designer series paper technique for card makers. And just a note that this stamp set is carrying over, the ribbon is carrying over, the pearls are carrying over into the new annual catalog. What's not carrying over is this pansy patch paper. It's on sale right now. While supplies last, I believe it's $9.60. Originally, it was $11.50. So that's a great buy. It's 20% off. These Stitch So Sweetly dies, oh my gosh, one of my all-time favorite dies. Let me go grab them really quick. I was just working with these this morning, and these dies are not on sale. And they are while supplies last, but look at, it's called Stitch So Sweetly. You have all of these scalloped rectangles, and then you have these shapes, and you can see how they layer into each other. So they're really, really awesome, and I use them a lot. So I highly recommend that you grab those. Like I said earlier, I just got back from seeing my grandkids. I don't even have my host code to share with you, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll share it on the in the title. Let's see. I have. So here's an example. I'm working on a card class that's almost ready to release, and this is an example of these Stitch So Sweetly dies when you layer them, when you stack them. So I do, oh, Dudley's saying, yeah, she uses them a lot. So this is how, you can stack them, and that is the way that, it's just one of the many things about that set of dies that you gotta love. Okay, that is going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to be back in the saddle. Great to be stamping with you again. I will be here again on Thursday for simple and stepped up stamping. And in the meantime, if you are watching this on replay on Facebook, I would love it if you would comment replay. And if you are watching the YouTube video, I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. I will be sharing this on my blog with all the measurements. I'll have an inspiration sheet for you, which gives you the photo and also gives you the measurements. And for this one, I'll also give you the kind of the instructions on how to do the cuts so that you do them effectively. And then it's like a little puzzle or a quilt pattern, and you just get to play with them and have fun with them. So good luck with your card making. Be sure to do some stack, cut, and shuffle cards. Use up that designer series paper. We have a lot of it that's retiring, a lot of gorgeous new papers that are coming. My pre-order just arrived. Actually, I think I'm probably going to share that with you on Thursday. So stay tuned and take care. Happy stamping. And I will see you Thursday. Take care and God bless.